All right, good evening. This will serve as the presentation for those of you who could not be in attendance for our meeting tonight. The first slide, as you can see here, are the bargaining team. Just to refresh your memories, the bargaining team was selected back last year, at the end of last year. Bargaining lead Dwight Nelson was selected and approved by the executive board. And then, as per our bylaws, we have 3 members per grade level. At the high school level, we had Chad Allen from Neuqua Valley High School. From Metea Valley High School, we had Kristen Mansmith, and then from Waubonsie Valley, we had Mike Tatella. At the middle school level, we had Dwight Nelson from Granger Middle School. We had Susan Farnan from Still Middle School. And then we had Tony Weslowski from Gregory. At the elementary level and our early childhood level, we had Monique O'Jordan, who represented Prairie Children Preschool. We had Nancy Pfister, who represented STEC. And then we had Matt Johnson, who represented White Eagle. Just to give you an idea of how we came to the topics that we reached back in October, lead bargaining facilitator Dwight Nelson and I visited every building and program throughout the district. We also held subcommittee meetings and a survey. Based on the information that we received, we formed our subcommittees based off of that conversations in the buildings and the surveys. We had compensation and benefits. We had nurses, social worker, psych, and SLP. We had SPED, and we also had working conditions. Based off the information from our conversations, as well as the survey by our members, these were the bargaining priorities for the team. The first one being compensation, the next one being time and workload, retirement, and then last, benefit and enhancements. So if you'll take a look here, you'll see that the first thing we addressed dealt with a lot with time and workload, with employment and working conditions. What you'll see now is that 7 PDWs throughout the year will now be teacher-driven activities. With regards to special education, some of the concerns and what came out of the survey that we saw was that we had a lot of our special education educators and related services who were doing work outside of the workday in order to meet the needs of their ESY students. So now SPED will be paid for work outside of the workday up to 2 hours at the internal subrate for ESY students. Please note the half day that our special education teachers receive also to address the ESY students for summer work is still and remains in the contract. In addition, SPED and SEL providers have an optional 2 days paid at the extended contract rate prior to the start of the school year. SPED also now will be paid an internal subrate for missing any plan or lunch due to IEP meetings or crisis. At the high school level, the Student Academic Guidance Program will remain. This was piloted in the last contract. Its purpose is to address the academic or SEL needs of the students. We did retain the building level committee, as well as we retained the district level oversight committee. We also retained, as was in the last contract, the Early Childhood Task Force letter of agreement.
All right, for those who have been in the district, you understand this. For those who have not been in the district very long, this shows us how much money has been put on the base from 2009 until 2021. So this year's contract, we had $850 put on the base. And this shows you how much money we put on the base for years 1 and 2. I'll explain years 3 and 4 in a minute here. For year 1, there'll be $2,356 put on the base. For year 2, there'll be $2,474 put on the base. Years 3 and 4 are based on CPI. CPI is the Consumer Price Index. It is the increase or decrease of cost of goods and services. So the minimum amount is 1.5%. So even if CPI dips below that, we are still guaranteed 1.5%. So for year 3, we are guaranteed to have $779 on the base. If CPI is above 1.5%, no higher than 5, the max being 5%, we would have $2,598 put on the base. For the 4th year of the contract, the minimum of 1.5% would be $791 on a base, and the maximum of 5% would be $2,636 put on the base. This reflects what the starting salaries would be. As you can see, the starting salary for this year was $47,120. For year 1, it'd be a guaranteed $49,476. For year 2, it'll be a guaranteed $51,950. And years 3 and 4 reflect the minimum 1.5% put on the base to a maximum of 5% put on the base. So you can see year 3 is 52,729, with the max being 54,548. In year 3, the minimum 53,520 to a max of 55,365. The reopener remains for years 3 and 4. It just reflects the current funding numbers. All right. So we chose these 4 cells because these 4 cells are the most populated at this time right now within our membership. So for a teacher who is at BA Step 4, current contract salary is $49,272. Someone at BA Step 4 on this contract that we TA'd would be $51,736. So it'd be a complete, just under a $2,500 pay raise for Step 4 this year compared to Step 4 for next year. And you can see Teacher B is at Master's Step 23. They would go from 96 and change to 101,000 and change. Someone at Master's 45 Step 23 would go from 111,000 and change to 117,000 and change. And then Master's 60 at Step 23 would go from 115 and change to just under $121,000. The step increase would not take place until the 13th paycheck. The reason why is that it was imperative for us to get the immediate 5% put on the base. So everyone will see a 5% increase from the very first paycheck. For those who still have step increases, they'll receive their step increase and an additional increase in their paycheck on the 13th paycheck. Lane changes occur as normal in November. Year 2 of the salary schedule, same thing. This represents what a person will be making at these 4 cells again. So Step 4, teacher would increase to 54,000. Masters would increase to 106,000. Masters 45 Step 23 would increase to 123,000 and change. And then Masters 60 Step 23 would increase to 126,874. For those who are to move a step, that would take place on the very first paycheck. And lane changes would occur as normal in November. Salary Schedule 3. This represents the minimum. So this is the lowest amount these cells would be, a minimum 1.5% increase. So a person at Step 4 would be minimum of $55,138. Step 23 for Masters would be $108,000. Masters 45 Step 23, $125,000. And Master 60 Step 23 would be $128,777. And again, step movement would occur on the first paycheck, and lane changes would occur as normal in November. And for the 4th year of the contract, again, this shows the minimum of 1.5%. So this would be at least what every cell would be. So for Step 4, it'd be $55,965. Master Step 23 would be $109,000 and change. Master's 45 Step 23 would be $126,902. And Master 60 Step 23 would be $130,709. Step movement would occur on the very first paycheck, and lane changes would occur as normal in November. New certified nurses would receive credit for their previous experience. New school psych, SLP, and social workers shall receive credit for education lane placement on the salary schedule. It'd be for max up to Masters plus 30. In addition to that, we'd have a letter of agreement which establishes credit for current CSNs for previous nursing experience, as well as social workers and SLPs giving education lane placement on the salary schedule. The 3 years of 6% would still remain. No changes to the insurance. The deductible amounts remain the same. The percentage is still the same. The employees pay 17%. The employer pays 83%. And just to refresh everyone's memory, the district owns the plan, and it is not contractual for us to bargain the provider. Sick leave has increased from 12 to 13 days a year now. And the calculation for accumulating the 215 sick days reflects birth or adoption. So what that means is those who have used FMLA for a birth and or adoption now have a chance to use a sick leave accelerator without having the actual days needed to receive them. the following slide will give us an example. So under this example, we have a teacher who has an actual 130 sick days in the bank, and this teacher has used 3 FMLAs for either birth and or adoption, and each time this teacher will be receive 30 qualifying days to count towards the numbers of days needed to receive the sick day accelerator, which is 215. So in this example, 130 sick days already wrapped up, 90 days of qualifying days of 3 different FMLAs for a birth or adoption. That adds up to 220. Since it's 215 days needed to receive the accelerating 27 sick days, this person would start or receive the 27 sick days for the following school year. So therefore, in the following school year, this teacher would have 157 sick leave days for that school year.
One of the next things we also addressed was the FMLA leave for birth or adoption. For example, if you had a natural childbirth and you were out for the typical 6 weeks of FMLA leave, you may now, in addition, use up to 2 weeks of your sick leave. So you would go from 6 to 8. If you were out the 8 weeks FMLA due to a cesarean, you are now allowed to use the 2 weeks of sick leave, taking you to 10 weeks to use to bond with the child. We also addressed the bereavement leave, and that moves from 2 days per loss.
All right. The district wants to give an appreciation bonus of $1,500 to be paid to returning staff by June 15th. Staff in the retirement pipeline will receive their appreciation bonus post-retirement. Extra duties and stipends. This still remains to the base salary. So as you can see, for year 1, the base salary is $49,476. Year 2 is $51,950. You see the minimum maximum for years 3 and 4. You receive your credit every single year. If you're not maxed out, you'll move over 1 on the stipend schedule all 4 years. So there is a guaranteed increase all 4 years and guaranteed step increase if you're not maxed out. Leadership stipends, year 1 is a 7% increase. Years 2, 3, and 4 will be depending on what the CPI is, with a maximum of 5%. All right, summer school pay, ESY, and internal substitution and lunchroom supervision has increased. As most of you know, that's been at $31 for quite some time. This is tied to the starting salary. So for year 1 of the contract, it would go from $31 to $39. Year 2 would go from $39 to $41. And years 3 and 4 would be tied to the base salary, which we don't know yet. But regardless, there will be an increase for years 3 and 4. We just don't know what that increase will be. Same thing for extended contracts. That will increase for year 1 to $47, year 2 to $49. Years 3 and 4 will also increase. We just don't know what that starting salary is going to be because, again, not knowing the CPI. The extended contracts are based on the pay at master's step 1.
Okay, so just to give you a rundown what happens in the next couple of days, tomorrow you will receive a salary letter like we've typically done in the past, which will show you exactly where and what you will earn for each of the 4 years of this tentative agreement. Again, we remind you that for years 3 and 4, that is the minimum of what you will earn if 1.5% is added to the base. So when you see your salary letters, just know for years 3 and 4, that is the minimum. Also, then after that, the ratification vote then will take place on Monday, April 11th. You will have the opportunity to vote within your buildings. If you know you will not be at school on Monday, April 11th, you will be allowed to vote early voting starting Thursday or Friday. Just find your senator. They should have located where in the building voting will take place. Voting will be completed at 4:30 on Monday, April 11th, and as soon as we know the vote, we will make the membership aware of it. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email myself, Katie Pop, or Dwight Nelson. Thank you.